Welcome, this is Adam reporting live from ISC, but not live from Frankfurt. Today we were eagerly awaiting the HPC in Asia session to see what the other countries in Asia, apart from Japan, we know it took the HPC crown with the fastest supercomputing in the world, what the other countries in Asia were doing, and especially, of course, what would China do? Would they be able to report progress towards exascale? Well, we looked at the presentation from Depay Quen from the Beihang University, and well, let's say they gave the usual overview. So this is the overview of the key project, the HPC project, and then there were the three prototypes which we already saw: the Sugon prototype, the Tianhe prototype, and the Sunway prototype. Yeah, okay, we already knew that they were working on that and that they were installed and working. They also reported that the China grid, the CN grid, was now updated to 460 petaflops in total, which sounds nice. I mean, in total it's a little bit more than the Fujaku system, but that's not what we were waiting for. But actually, this is all that we did get. So unfortunately, we don't have much information on the progress that the Chinese did make towards exascale. They're still working on it, but well, that's about as much as we know, unfortunately. The next presentation in the HPC in Asia session was from Saudi Arabia. It was given by Hatem Latif, who is from KAUST, and KAUST is the big supercomputing center in Saudi Arabia. He started with talking about the top 500, but of course, because it's pre-recorded, he was mentioning the old, well, we now call it old, but it was half a year old top 500. And in that top 500, Saudi Arabia had three systems. So one is operated by a KAUST, it's Shaheen, and then there were two other systems operated by Aramco. He mentioned also that there's a KAUST strategic AI initiative. So he was wondering, is AI part of HPC or is HPC part of AI? Well, he concluded that there's a big overlap. Anyway, KAUST is setting up a strategic initiative for AI because there's a lot of customers who are asking for that. Okay, Shaheen 2 is now the current supercomputer, and they're planning to have a new supercomputer which is called Shaheen 3. That will be available in 2022, and they're still on schedule, he says. He also says that one of the activities that they took up recently, like many others, is to have a rapid response team for COVID-19 research. So 15% of the Shaheen annual budget is now allocated to COVID-19 research, and there's some interesting things what they look at. For instance, they are looking at the family tree of viruses. So COVID-19 is a SARS virus, it's part of that family. So how is that family tree evolving over time? And they try to get as much data as possible so that they can really construct the family tree. Another interesting thing is that they look at the structure of the SARS virus and how it can get deformed. So for instance, if you have a SARS virus in a droplet, the droplet is somehow moved in the air, and then the virus particle is kind of deforming, and the more it gets deformed, the less likely it is that it will do anything. So it's really interesting research. And they showed that with a special model on the Shaheen 2 supercomputer, they can run a very fast simulations of that very specific but very important study. So that was basically the input from Saudi Arabia. Of course, you can look the whole presentation on the ISC website. The next presentation in the HPC in Asia session was from Stefan Wang. He's technical director of the National Supercomputing Center in Singapore. And Stefan Wang already presented last year at ISC, but then still live, and now he has a virtual presentation. So there's a national supercomputing program in place, and they're now looking at the second phase. And the idea is to democratize access to supercomputing in Singapore for everyone, including industry. The important message was from Stefan that they now had the money. So the program was approved, and it has officially begun as of October 2019. The total value of the program is 130 million euro, which is a considerable amount of money. The interesting thing is that they don't want to build one monolithic supercomputer, so not one system, but actually they have several smaller systems. I'll just put it a little bit bigger. So they have several smaller systems, each targeted towards one specific application, and that will be connected by an RDMA network. So this is the RDMA network. The current supercomputer is also still part of that, but that will be phased out at some point in the future. The systems will not all be built into one big data center, but actually they are building 3 different data centers in Singapore. So the idea is to distribute the hardware and the support. The status, what Stefan told us, is that it was all going very well until, say, February. There was a request for proposals and people answered to that, but then the COVID-19 situation hampered it a little bit. They expect to start working on it later this year, and that means that the completion of the whole plan would be somewhere at the end of next year. So that was the report from Singapore, and of course you can go to the ISC website to see his complete presentation with much more detail. Another country presenting at the HPC in Asia workshop at the Digital ISC conference was Thailand. Thailand was presented by Puchong Uttayapas, who is from the Kasetat University in Thailand. And he told the audience that there's quite a lot of HPC activities going around in the country, a lot of clusters for different kinds of applications. So one of the overarching structures is the National eScience Infrastructure Consortium, which was founded a few years ago and has several members, now in total about 9. And it's a kind of glue keeping everything together. So as you can see, there are several machines at several institutes. In total, they have now something like 4,000 CPU cores and about 900 terabyte of memory. So it's quite a number of systems that are collected together. The other thing that he mentioned was that the Thailand is now part of the Asian HPC task force, so they're working together with other countries in the neighborhood. So overall, interesting things happening in HPC in Thailand, and for more information, of course, view the presentation on the ISC website. So this was our reporting for today, live from ISC, but not live from Frankfurt. Tune in during the next days to see more news from the ISC event and about the HPC community. See you then.